Did you ever think what it would be like traveling along in an open car without a windshield? Boy, you wouldn't go very far before you got all splattered with mud. And you'd have to keep your eyes closed so as not to be blinded by the dust. Well, when you're traveling along in life, Rangers, common sense acts as a pretty important windshield. It lets you see where you're going.
I am the greatest.
Welcome, everyone. We are back. Good morning, good afternoon, and depending where you're at, good evening on the replay. Actually, we're live right now. Once again, my name is Yaboya, and I'm here with
Kim with Emend The Mass Media Group.
Okay, and I am Darlene Crumity with ETM. And welcome, everyone.
Welcome.
So,
and who is you?
Who is me? Well, I know I'm with Emend The Mass. I thought I said my name, but then again, you know, I understand who is you though. So it's an inside joke. Who you?
Yes. Who you?
All right, family. So we have a lot to get into it. I know we're trying to get out, you know, within the hour or so. So I guess let's get into it, shall we? Emmanuel Smith, the case of Emmanuel Smith. The series is actually about to come to an end. I believe we have one more episode coming up. So for those who have been following the webisode and the case for Emmanuel Smith, thank you very much. Thank you for the support. I'm sure he appreciates the support as well. He does have his upcoming trial in December. Can't remember exactly the date. But once we get confirmation, just got to remember to put it up. We'll probably put it up on the community tab as well. And yeah, got one more episode coming up. So, you know, we wish him all the best.
Yeah, look for that next week and future updates. And if you're in the Sacramento area looking for office working space, please check out Capacity in Oak Park area, our fiduciary sponsor, and just all around great organization helping us do our reparations organizing work. So shout out to Capacity Co-working as usual.
Go to I don't know, like drawing a blank. ETM Media Group Store. That's etmmediagroupstore.com to get all your merch. Reparations Now gear. We got Cut the Check, Policy Over Party, and all that other good stuff. You got beanies, shirts, caps. Man,
and beanies
sweaters.
would be good. It's getting a little cooler now, so now is the time for a beanie cap.
Right, exactly. and look for some new drops on merch coming up for the holiday season. So yeah, check out etmmediagroupstore.com.
And you're supporting a good cause. So yeah, please go to etmmediagroupstore.com to support. Thank you.
All right, and another way to support a good cause is through the Amazon ETM affiliate link. I use this link for all of your Amazon shopping, just click on this link first. I think we can drop that in the comment, the link for that in the comment. And I know it's in the description if you're at our YouTube channel, but you can access the ETM affiliate marketing link again to do all your Amazon shopping, and we get a little kickback on that.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Okay,
You want to
in
take this
terms
one?
of reparations, to make it a reality in California, we need yes from 41 assembly members, 21 senators, and 1 governor to sign it, and that will equal California reparations here in California for all the bills that will be coming forth by the end of this year and into 2024.
All right, so we have some news, sad news. Dianne Feinstein passed. She was in office for quite a long time. She was the oldest sitting U.S. Senator and member of Congress. She was also the longest serving U.S. Senator from California, the longest tenured female senator in history, and the senior Democratic member of the Senate. She was born June 22nd, 1933 in San Francisco, and she passed September 29th at age 90 in Washington, D.C.
Oh, she was actually a native San Franciscan? I didn't know that. Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
So now someone's going to have to fill that seat in the interim until we can elect the official representative.
Yeah, I think, Darlene, we were having a previous conversation about this. I think you were mentioning, who was it again?
Yes, I've read someone that a lot of people are saying that Governor Newsom should elect Barbara Lee. I believe she's out in Oakland, maybe, or if I'm not mistaken.
She's in the Bay Area somewhere.
In the Bay Area, Barbara Lee. So, but that's yet to be determined. A lot of people say if he picks her, it's just going to be for optics. So we'll wait and see. I mean, it should be quite interesting to see because she's held that seat for so long, you know.
Yes. Wasn't she in office? I'm not trying to put you on blast, but you had an interaction with her?
Yes, it was 1973. I was 16 years old. You can put me on blast because I'm alive, so you can put me on blast. Yes, I did have an interaction with her at Stonestown Mall. Myself and a classmate, we were involved in some kind of political event in the mall, and we were asked to give out flyers. And so we were handing out flyers, and we approached Senator Feinstein, and she did not say anything to us. She just pat us on the head. Well, I was a little done. Even back then when I was 16 in the 70s, so I really haven't followed her or had much to do with her since.
So you could feel that was just even at that young age.
Even at that young age, do not pat me on the head. No.
Wow.
Well, she's gone to a better place, but definitely, the fact that she went to her transition while she was still a sitting U.S. senator. I mean, her daughter was named her power of attorney.
Yes.
Yeah, and she was basically. It just felt like elder abuse, seeing them continue to, will her into these hearings and like feed her information on what to say and how to vote. I definitely think we need term limits.
I mean, we can even question. I mean, term limits. Yes, you're correct. I mean, but at 90 years old, it's been a while since she was not, capable. So, I mean,
right.
Yeah.
Right. At some point, you just have to respectfully, either
resign.
step down or, be.
What point was she making, or what's her family trying to make?
It was just sad. It was just sad to watch.
I mean, 30 something years in that
Right.
position is a long time. You know what I'm
It
saying?
is. And,
Mhm.
it's taking up space for, newer, fresher ideas and people and policy. So definitely term limits is something that needs to be seriously considered.
And she was not for reparations, if we could just put that out there. She
Oh,
was not. Mm-mm.
there you go. So speaking of Congress, it looks like they did pass a temporary budget bill, HR 5860. And it's just interesting, when we're doing this research, normally media, they don't actually put the bill numbers on their, um, reports. So it's just hard when you're looking for the exact information. It's like they're just trying to be sneaky, like, oh, we're the only ones that have this information. So anyway, did find the bill number. It's HR 5860. Probably we'll be thinking about doing a 3 or 4 part series on this, just so we have some information, so we can be aware of what's actually in the bill. Now, this is an extension. I believe it goes till November 17th, I want to say. So yeah, this is a temporary bill. So it did pass September 29th, I believe. I think that was, am I correct? 29th. Yeah.
Friday.
Was it Friday or Saturday 30th? I can't remember. Anyway, it did pass, and now the government is not shut down. So the federal government isn't shut down. I should be more specific.
Did you have a video to accompany this, or?
Actually, yes, we do. So
Can I ask you
maybe
a
we'll play
question
the
before you
video.
start the video, Moya? So you're
Yeah,
saying
sure.
that until it's November 13th, would they 17th, would they vote again?
That's a good question. I think I want to read the bill to confirm that. I think
Okay.
they might, though. I mean, and this is his best guess, so don't hold me, right? But I think they probably will need to vote again. But yeah, this is a temporary bill.
Okay.
So, all right. So actually, let's play 2 videos. We got 2 videos that we'll play, and then we'll get into some more information on this bill. Here we go.
We will keep the government open for 45 days with a clean CR at current funding levels. And we avoided all of the extreme, nasty, and harmful cuts MAGA Republicans wanted. No 30% cuts across the board. No 30% cuts to things like health care, to the Social Security Administration, to the nutrition programs for kids. Full reauthorization of the FAA until December 31st. And the poison pill amendments, of which there were scores, MAGA-inspired riders, were all removed from the bill. After trying to take our government hostage, MAGA Republicans won nothing. So one more time, it is good Speaker McCarthy finally heeded our message that bipartisanship was and is and remains the only way. He could have made this decision weeks ago. Now, I've said from day one, this is a bridge CR, a temporary solution, not the final destination. We will not stop fighting for more economic and security assistance for Ukraine. Majorities in both parties support Ukraine aid, and doing more is vital for America's security and for democracy around the world. But this CR is still very good news for the American people. Today, MAGA extremists have failed, bipartisanship has prevailed, and both parties have come together to avert a shutdown.
All right, we got one more video to play. Let's play this one.
In the meantime, I want to say a word about those in Congress who are willing to shut down the government. Just a few months ago, the Speaker of the House and I agreed to spending levels for the government. We were up right to the very edge, almost reneged on our debt, and that we're going to fund essential priorities and still cut the deficit by $1 trillion over the next decade. Now a small group of extreme House Republicans, they don't want to live up to that deal, and everyone in America could be faced with paying the price for that. We changed it. We made a deal. We shook hands. We said this is what we're going to do, and now they're reneging on the deal, which is not much of a surprise these days. And the black community in particular is going to suffer if that occurs. For example, shutdown is going to risk nutrition assistance to nearly 7 million moms and children. It's going to disproportionately affect black families. The Department of Housing and Urban Development will have to stop nearly all its enforcement work fighting housing discrimination. EPA would have to stop its important work bringing environmental justice and frontline and fence line communities.
Yeah, America's government reneging on deals isn't much of a surprise. It sounds like he's talking about reparations and Field Order 15 to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're definitely using a little fear tactics, the mega cuts. Um, and then Biden talks about, how's it going to affect black people. No, it wouldn't affect if you were serious about reparations.
Exactly. It
You know,
affected black people when you reneged on reparations. So, I mean, we got to go back and settle that debt first. That's what, strikes me the most about Biden's statements here is he's like, oh, reneging on a debt. Well, that's what you're doing
yeah,
with
and they're still going to
reparations.
pay Ukraine. So,
And someone posted, the government's always shut down for black people. So, I mean, it don't even make a difference.
no. Mm-mm. Jamoria, your take, since we kind of went off.
My sentiments exactly.
Yes, and then the whole using the mega language. I mean,
I noticed that
yeah,
in both clips. In both clips,
yeah,
they talked about, the MAGA extremist and stuff.
yeah. It's just a fear tactic, and then they want to play on our sympathy about what black people is going to affect the most. Excuse me, but they're still going to pay
The
aid
Ukraine.
Ukraine. So
Right, yeah. So,
Yeah, that makes a lot of nonsense.
yeah.
right.
Hmm.
All right,
Yes,
so
yeah. More. I'm looking forward to your read. This is very interesting. I look forward to it.
Yeah, important information
Yes.
to get broken down. We don't know what's really in this 71-page bill.
Hmm.
that is true, but we're gonna find out, see what's in there. If that veil. All right, so actually, let's get into some articles that were written on the bill, shall we? All right, so where things stand. Congress passes funding bill to avert shutdown. President Joe Biden signed the short term funding bill passed by Congress, averting a government shutdown ahead of a midnight deadline. Senate approved the measure Saturday evening after the House abruptly reversed course earlier in the day and passed a bipartisan bill. The bill needed support from 2/3 of House members to pass under an expedited process. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy's job could now be on the line. Hardline conservatives threatened to oust him if he relied on Democratic votes to avert a shutdown. The stopgap bill will keep the government open through November 17th and includes natural disaster aid, but not additional funding for Ukraine due to objections from some conservatives. The Biden administration has warned this would have serious consequences for the war. Defense Secretary calls for the more Ukraine aid following the passage of the stopgap bill. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin welcomed congressional passage of a stopgap bill to avert a government shutdown, but he called for more Ukraine funding in a statement on Saturday night. The short-term funding measure does not include new aid for Ukraine. Its battle against Russia's full-scale invasion. Quote, I welcome congressional action tonight to avert an unnecessary and destructive government shutdown that would have had a profound impact on the lives of our troops and civilians who work and sacrifice to defend this country every day. But I also urge Congress to live up to America's commitment to provide urgently needed assistance to the people of Ukraine as they fight to defend their own country against the forces of tyranny. America must live up to its word and continue to lead. Austin said. What government leaders say, House Democratic leadership said in a statement Saturday that they expect House Speaker Kevin McCarthy to bring a separate Ukraine aid bill to vote when the House returns. So yeah, that's the current, I guess, feedback on what the Defense Secretary has to say. So anyway,
I just had to move on because all this talking about, not living up to its word, and it's just, I mean, you have an original sin debt to settle. That needs to be settled before any money to the Ukraine or anywhere else. But they keep talking about, oh, we're not going to be seen as good on our word. We're not good on our word. Well, no, you're not.
Yeah, absolutely.
You want me to take this one? What is a government shutdown? A government shutdown happens when Congress doesn't approve funding for the federal government by the time the new fiscal year starts on October 1st. It can be averted briefly in a short-term funding bill if a short-term funding bill is passed, like what happened just before midnight on September 30th. Each year, Congress must pass the 12 appropriation bills that make up the discretionary spending budget and set funding levels for federal agencies.
And shout out to you, Yamoria, for finding that bill.
Oh, appreciate.
It'll be interesting to hear it. I'm really, really looking forward to it.
Okay. You want to take this slide, Darlene?
Okay. What happens during a government shutdown? If lawmakers fail to enact all or some of the appropriation bills, many government operations grind to a halt, resulting in a full or partial government shutdown until Congress acts. However, government functions that are deemed essential will continue. Each federal agency comes up with a contingency plan that outlaws which of its functions will continue during a shutdown and which will stop, as well as how many of its employees will continue working and how many will be furloughed until the shutdown ends. Well, that's interesting.
All right, I'll get this one. What it means for government workers. When a shutdown occurs, millions of federal employees and military service members do not get paid until it ends. Employees deemed essential, such as those in services that protect public safety or national security, keep working. In the past, this included services such as federal law enforcement and air traffic control. Non-essential employees are furloughed or temporarily suspended. Both groups must pull from savings or find other ways to stretch their dollars. Not only until the shutdown ends, but until back pay arrives. The number of workers affected depends on if the shutdown is full or partial. If some appropriation bills pass on time, those corresponding federal agencies will have approved funding and continue operating as normal, resulting in only a partial shutdown. During the last government shutdown in 2018-2019, an estimated 420,000 federal employees worked without pay, and another 380,000 were furloughed. But depending on which agencies are affected, these numbers can be much higher. Government contractors are even worse off. Unlike federal workers, contractors have no guarantee of getting back pay once the government reopens. Contractors number in the millions and include firms that work for NASA, the Department of Homeland Security, Federal Aviation Administration, and other federal agencies, providing a range of services such as IT or infrastructure repair.
Well, I have a question. Okay, I'll take this, but then I'll ask my question. Well, my question here is, the employees that are not going to work. I mean, isn't that just like, can they possibly? Well, I mean, can they at least collect unemployment? And then even the contractors, they're saying, there's no guarantee of getting that money back.
Well, unemployment is connected to the government, so
Well, it's connected to the government, but
don't that
these
come
people,
to a screeching halt too?
they don't mention it. Is it? But to me, unemployment should be essential.
Yeah, that's actually a good question because when you think about it, I know on a state level, right? When you get unemployment, that's usually, you know, funded by the state, your
Hmm.
state government. But in this particular case, it's like federal. So how does that work? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, well, that impacts the state. I mean, don't y'all remember furlough Fridays? I mean, remember hearing about furlough
Yeah,
Fridays?
where you took the Friday off without pay to keep your,
Right.
yes, I was working during that time.
It
Yeah,
seemed like that went on for a minute.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that was state, and that impacted state employees, as I remember.
But the people
wow.
couldn't get unemployment because technically they were still working over 50%. They just had that Friday off.
Right.
Yeah, you could get unemployment. Well, I don't know how it is today, but I was back in the day, you could get unemployment if you were let off and you were working 50% or under. I don't know what it is now.
All right.
Okay. What it means for you, this shutdown, what it means for you. Because many federal workers are off the job during a government shutdown, many services are stopped or slowed, disrupting the day to day life of many Americans. Notably, Social Security payments to seniors, Americans with disabilities, and others will continue to be distributed. The Postal Service will also continue regular service. Some states would use their own funds to keep open certain national parks like the Grand Canyon. Well, I mean, you can close that down and let's pay people, you know. And I'm just going to raise my hand and shout out to Social Security payments will still come through.
Yeah, Social Security and
Yeah,
disability.
let's raise the roof on that one.
And a lot of us work for the Postal Service.
Um,
That looks like it's still going to continue to go on. So,
You mean us as far as lineage base? Not so much
yes.
anymore, Kim. Not so much anymore.
Um,
No. Back in the day, yes, but the demographics is definitely has changed.
I thought we still had higher numbers. We'll have to look into that.
Yeah, I need to look into it. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying we're not there, but certainly not in masses like we
Not
used to.
like we used to
No.
be. Yeah, yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, you could say that about a lot of
Other
a
things,
lot of
yes.
stuff.
A lot
Yeah.
of jobs, yes.
Hmm.
Hmm.
All right. So thank you for putting those slides
Yeah,
together,
together
explaining
more.
the government shutdown and the what's pending and what to expect.
But why
Exactly.
not pay people? Why keep the Grand Canyon open? Do you know how much money that would cost? That's just my personal opinion.
Just
Hey,
shut down the
Darlene, the
Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon, it's a beautiful place.
Great, yes.
You
But
might
how
want to
many
go
poor
visit
folks?
on your days off, on your furlough days.
Your furlough day.
But how many poor people are getting
That's
up there
funny.
during this crisis?
I know,
No.
right?
Mm-mm.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Their priorities are their priorities.
well, here's a quick video illustration, and then I guess we'll continue with the show. So here we go. Oh, this is regarding the government shutdown. What possibly could happen? Just to give it some context. This illustration shows potentially what could happen if a federal government shutdown happened. Here's just a few examples. One, airport delays. Flight delays could increase like they did in 2019 due to TSA worker and air traffic control shortages. Immigration courts may close, compounding case backlogs. Museum closures, for example, the Smithsonian and the National Zoos could close. You also have early childhood education. About 10,000 low-income children would immediately lose access to Head Start programs. Food safety, FDA, food safety inspections may be disrupted. Infrastructure, transportation, construction, work across the nation could be put on hold. And food assistance, WIC, funding will be immediately at risk unless states step in, and SNAP funding is uncertain past October. You also have transportation projects to repair subway tracks, rehabilitate buses, or buy new ones could pause. In addition, national park closures. Many national parks will close, though some will remain accessible with limited visitor services. So those are some examples that could happen during a federal government shutdown.
I mean, I guess if you close the parks, you are gonna, those jobs that are attached to those parks. I mean, I get that, Mhm.
Yeah. No. As you mentioned, Darlene, would rather pay people, you know what I mean, at that particular time, keep
Yeah,
their livelihood
absolutely.
going.
Yes.
Um,
Hmm.
so please like, share, and subscribe. If you're watching this video, we greatly appreciate that. And share and hit that bell to get notifications when we do go live and when we are posting content. So greatly appreciate that. All right. So let's, I guess, get into what we came here for. Yeah. The
All right,
the assembly.
what we've all been waiting for, huh? All right, so as we continue with the Assembly representatives in the Assembly House, we've got District 10, and that is Stephanie Nguyen with the Democratic Party. California State Assembly District 10, tenure 2022 to present, term ends 2024. Let's see here. She has capital office here in Sacramento and also an office in Elk Grove. The counties that she supports is Sacramento. As a matter of fact, this is my assembly member.
Mm.
So District 10, population of 518,415. The demographic breakdown of that is white, 41% or 22.41% at 1,016,165. Hispanic at 26.6%, 1,037,890. Black or African American, 12.5% at 65,000. And Asian at 29.49%, 152,874,000 there.
Mm.
Um, she supports homelessness or, cleaning it up, public safety, and economic development. Her resume here: Nguyen is a member of the California State Assembly representing District 10. She assumed office December 5th, 2022. Her current term ends December 2nd, 2024. Nguyen ran for election to the California State Assembly to represent District 10. She won in the general election on November 2022. So she was not in office when they held the AB 3121 voting session. So she did not vote on that. We'll definitely have to reach out and find what her views are on that. Now, I have reached out to Assemblymember Nguyen on one occasion. We read an article on in the news, ETM in the news, about assistance for back utility payments. There was this big pot of money coming out from the state and how to access it. I could not find a lot of information on how to access these resources. So I contacted her office and I said, hey, what do you know about this? Presented her with the information on what I was talking about. And her response was basically, I know as much as you. So really nothing. She was not very helpful. Said if they learned anything more, they would get back to me, which they never did. So that was my experience with her. And asking about resources, she didn't really have any information. Whereas when Jim Cooper was in that position, I would reach out to his office for support in gaining resources, and they would make phone calls on my behalf and ask these agencies what the holdup is, and call me back and say, oh yeah, you can expect a call from them. We called them. We got on them about it. So yeah.
So,
So far,
Kim, did you actually speak to her or just someone in her office?
it was an email
Oh, an
communication.
email.
So
Okay.
yeah, I just got
Hmm.
an email back from her office. So we'll see if she'll be more receptive to communications in the future and providing resources of any kind. All right, so that is Miss Stephanie Nguyen.
All right, so we have in District 11, Lori Wilson. Lori Wilson, Democratic Party, is a member of the California State Assembly. She assumed office on April 6, 2022. Her current term ends on December 2nd, 2024. Wilson ran for re-election to the California State Assembly to represent District 11. She won in the general election on November 8th, 2022. It's like Wilson won an election to the California State Assembly to represent District 11 outright in primary on April 5th, 2022, after general election was canceled. Let's see here. She supports housing, jobs, homeless, and she is the chair of the California Black Caucus. She has offices in the Capitol and at Insun City. And let's see what else. Total population around 514,000. Hispanic, 147,000 at 28%. White, 185,000 at 35%. Black or African American, 62,000 at 12%. And Asian, 75,000 at 14%. She represents the counties of Contra Costa, Sacramento, and Solano.
We're the lowest again.
And she is my representative.
So you're one of those 62,000,
Yes, I'm one of them. I'm one of them. And to me, that's just seems. I'm looking at it thinking it seems high, but then I don't know.
When you look at the other numbers, though, the other.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, by me living in the neighborhood, I don't actually see that all the time. I could be wrong. I don't know everything.
Yeah, well, at least
it's spread out over 3 counties.
Yeah, over 3 counties. Yeah, but Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you look at it according to the chart, it looks like Solano she represents the majority of people in that county. Sacramento's very minimal along Contra Costa. So she's predominantly in Solano.
In Solano, yeah. And you have down 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, but a lot of Black families have been able to purchase homes in Suisun. So, and I'm not necessarily in that area all the time. So maybe that's where the uptick is.
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
And she wasn't in office at that particular time. So she has not in office during the AB 3121 vote. We also had a chance, ETN Media Group, specifically me, had a chance to speak with the chair of the Black Caucus. I think it was like something in February, March. Don't quote me. It was during an ACA 8 press conference. So we do have a clip. And if you haven't seen it, go on to our channel to watch the full video. But let's go ahead and play the clip.
So my thoughts on, I have been following the task force work, and we have 2 members of the Black Caucus on that, Assembly Member Reggie Jones Sawyer, as well as Senator Steve Bradford, and they regularly give updates outside of we all, have started to read the full study that had the draft come out, and we have the final coming out in June with the full recommendations. And so I think that the work they're doing is very positive and good, and I've been happy with the discussions that they've been having, not only amongst themselves, but with members of the community. And I look forward to being able to see what recommendations come out and how we can then push that through legislatively and through our budget priorities. So I support that work, and I understand there has been this great discussion on whether they're descendants of chattel slavery or are they, all members of the Black community, no matter where they are, the full diaspora. And I'm saying the name wrong, but I know as I'm talking, how you start talking fast. But here's the deal. I'm open to those discussions, and I actually don't have a strong opinion on them yet. I want to hear the full discussion and recommendation that comes out. I recognize when you have an advisory board, it's important to let them have that without the influence of the legislators, because we will then act on those decisions. And so I look forward to being able to have that discussion with the other 11 members of the Black Caucus and decide what it is that we want to do with this report and with this information. But the point is, we know an investment must be made. There's been a legacy of, as we talk about slavery, the impacts of slavery and voluntary servitude on the Black communities, but just a slavery of history of discrimination that has directly impacted the economy, the personal economy of Black Californians.
So there you go. So yeah, I definitely want to thank, Chair and Assembly Member Lori Wilson for taking the time out to answer, the questions. So now the report is out. Obviously, the interview was before.
Right. And she said she needs to hear these discussions. Those should be in full swing as well. Reparations discussions. So yeah.
But I do have a question, Umora. She says that if she's speaking about the California Black Caucus, because when this interview was had, this was February, March of this year. The vote for eligibility was last year. So can you clarify what she meant by that, or?
Well, I obviously, she said what she said, and you are correct. The eligibility vote was prior to that.
That didn't end the discussions about it.
Obviously didn't stop the discussion on, according to what she may believe that this be for the descendant lineage based community, or should we spread it past the
but I'm saying, was she just specifically speaking about in the California Black Caucus, but not in terms of the California Reparations Task Force?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because this was February, we were all there. So it was March last year, March 29th, 2022.
Correct.
So I'm just curious about that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but like, these are just recommendations, right? So that the task force is given to the legislator, or the legislator. So,
right. And if she was talking about the Black Caucus, that was early on in these discussions. Hopefully, they're all on the same page now regarding lineage. But maybe that's a question we can ask her. She's your representative, Darlene.
Well, that is true. I certainly can. Let's just do that. Yes, because I was a little concerned here, Yes, you're right. You're right, Umora. You're right. These are recommendations, but, to me, that vote is the vote, and I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, I mean,
eligibility vote. I'm sticking with it.
I mean, and it makes the most sense. You want to redress the particular group that have been harmed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
In this case.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay. So we have up next, we have Assembly Member Damon Connolly. He is with the Democrat Party, Assembly District 12. His tenure is 2022 to present. His term ends 2024. He has offices at the state capitol, San Rafael, Petaluma, and Santa Rosa. Okay, his counties are Marin, San Francisco, and Sonoma. He supports affordable housing, renewable energy, access to public transportation, infrastructure for bicyclists and pedestrians. And I actually feel like this is a very, very important part for our communities, because I am a cyclist and it gets a little scary out there sometimes. We all have to share the road. And so even in where I live, last year, now they have put up a lot of bike lanes, and that's very safe. So I'm very glad that that's there. Okay, and the total population is 484,575, and the breakdown is white at 50.4%, at 244,000. Hispanics is 36.1, 175,000. A dismal black at 2.9%, 14.1 thousand. Asian 6.4%, 31.2. And Assemblymember Conley, again, is a member of the Democratic Party. He represents against District 12. He assumed office December 5th, 2022. His current term ends December 2nd, 2024. And he ran for election to the California State Assembly to represent District 12, and he won in the general election November 8th, 2022. And as far as the AB 31 vote, he was not in office. So another person we have to watch. We need to watch all of them, though.
Yes, indeed. Okay, up next we've got Carlos Villa Pudua. Villa Pudua?
Duda?
Villa Pudua.
Villa Pudua. Okay. Carlos Villa Pudua. California State Assembly District 13, tenure 2020 to present, term ends 2024. He has offices at the state capitol here in Sacramento and also in Stockton, California. He represents county of San Joaquin. Let's see, the population is 489,925. White is 20% at 97,982. Hispanic is 42.8% at 209,919. Black African American is 9.9% at 48,695. And we have Asian at 21%, 21.1% at 103,640,000 residents there. Let's see here. He supports vocational education, job creation, and healthcare. Let's see, resume real quick. Member of the California State Assembly representing District 13. He assumed office on December 7th, 2020. His current term ends December 2nd, 2024. So even though he was in office in 2020, he was seated after the AB 3121 vote. So he was not in office for that vote and had no vote. Villa Pudua ran for election to the California State Assembly to represent District 13. He won in the general election. He was a 2019 Democratic candidate for the same seat. And so his vote, he did not vote on AB 3121. Okie dokie.
And it looks like he has an office in Stockton, right, Kim?
Yes,
people out there in the Stockton district.
In Stockton.
So if y'all out there in the Stockton area, you know who to hit up. All right, Buffy Wicks, District 14, supports rights of women and working families, protecting consumers, and reducing gun violence, affordable housing, including housing affordability crisis on women and people of color. She represents counties Alameda and Contra Costa. Total population, 475,000 approximately, Hispanic or Latino, 126,000 at 26%, white, 165,000 at 34%, Black or African American, 52,000 at 10%, and Asian, 94,000 at 19%. And let's see here. Buffy Wicks defeated Jovanka Beckless in the general election for California State Assembly District 15 on November 6, 2018. She is a member of the Democratic Party and now is California State Assembly, representing District 14. She assumed office on December 5th, 2022. Her current term ends on December 2nd, 2024. So it looks like she was in the state assembly I don't know if they redistrict her or whatever it is, but she was at District 15. So her vote on AB 3121 at the time was abstained. So I mean, it's just real quick to note how, she is a champion of people of color, yet she abstained on the AB 3121 vote.
But we all can question what does people of color mean.
That's very true.
Yes. Okay. Next up, we have Assemblymember Tim Grayson. He is in the Democratic Party, and he is California District Assembly. I'm sorry, California State Assembly District 15. His tenure is 2022 to present. His term ends 2024. He has an office at the state capitol and an office at Concord, California. His counties include Contra Costa, and some of the cities, there was tons, but a few of them are Alhambra Way, Antioch, Bay Point, and Brentwood. He supports, or I should say, he's more a advocate for the victims of domestic violence, human trafficking, and child and elder abuse, and I 100% agree with that. The total population is 489,917, and the breakdown is white at 39.4%, 193,000, Hispanic 22.4%, 110,000, Black 13.2%, 13.2%, 64.7 thousand, and Asian at 18.8% at 92.1 thousand. And Assemblymember Grayson is with the Democratic Party. He is a member of the California State Assembly representing District 15. He assumed office on December 5th, 2022, and his current term ends on December 2nd, 2024. Okay. He is running for election to the California State Senate to represent District 9, and he has declared his candidacy for the primary, which is scheduled on March the 5th, 2024. And his AB 3121 vote, he was not in office.
All right. Up next, we have District 16. Rebecca Bauer-Kahn is of the Democratic Party, tenure from 2018 to present. Term ends in 2024, years in position 5. She serves the counties of Alameda and Contra Costa. She has office at the state capitol here in Sacramento and also in San Ramon, California. Her population that she serves is 535,922. Of that, we have white at 51%, 263,000, plus Hispanic or Latino, we have at 11.2%, 57,837. Black African American, we have at 1.93%, 9,985. And Asian, we have at 29.16%, at 150,525. She supports the environment, reproductive rights, equal rights, and then there were a couple of bills associated that she supported. I'm going to have to go back and research those, and feel free to screenshot them and research them that and see what kind of equal rights she supports. And that would be AB 624, AB 988, and AB 1666. Her resume, again, she's at the Democratic Party representing District 16, assumed office in 2018, and her current term ends on December 2nd, 2024. Byron Khan ran for re-election to the California State Assembly to represent District 16. She won in general election on November 8, 2022. And she was a yes vote on AB 3121. Again, she was in that position at the time and has held that position for 5 years. So she was a yes vote on AB 3121.
Okay, Rebecca, thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. We'll have to see where her stance is on getting the tangibles.
All right, Matt Haney, Democratic Party, is a member of the California State Assembly representing District 17. He assumed office on May 3rd, 2022. His current term ends on December 2nd, 2024. Haney, Democratic Party, ran for re-election to the California State Assembly to represent District 17. He won in the general election on November 8th, 2022. He also ran in a special election to the California State Assembly to represent District 17. He won in the special general election on April 19, 2022. Haney was an at-large representative for the San Francisco Unified Board of Education in California from 2012 to 2019. He also represented District 6 on the San Francisco Board of Supervisors from 2019 to 2022. Supports education, mental health, universal tenant protections, affordable housing, public safety, and economic recovery. In 2020, Matt authored the Overpaid Executive Tax, which was the first voter-approved tax in the country targeting the massive gap between worker and CEO pay. The measure passed and will provide San Francisco with tens of millions of dollars to hire more nurses, social workers, and emergency responders. He has offices at the Capitol and looks like he has an office in San Francisco. Total population represents 518,000, approximately Hispanic at 98,000 at 18%, white 185,000 at 35%, and black at 36,000 at 6.95%, close to 7%, Asian at 31% at 165,000. Currently, he was not in this position or in office at the time, so his AB 3121 vote is not in office, and his county is San Francisco.
Okay. Next up is Assembly Member Mia Banta. She represents the Democratic Party in the California State Assembly District 18. Her tenure is 2021 to present, and her term ends 2024. She's been in that position for 2 years. She has an office at the state capitol and in Oakland. Her county she represents are Alameda and San Francisco. She supports to end homelessness and affordable housing, because they definitely go hand in hand, criminal justice reform, and climate change. The total population is 496,164, white at 24.2%, or 120,000, Hispanic 26.5%, 131,000, Black at 21.3%, 106,000, Asian at 22.1% at 110,000. Assemblymember Banta, again, is a member of the Democratic Party, and she is a member of the California State Assembly representing District 18. She assumed office on September 7th, 2021, and her current term ends on December 2nd, 2024. She won in the general election on November 8th, 2022. Her AB 3121 vote, she was not in office. And if her name sounds familiar, she is married to our Attorney General, Rob Bonta. And I think Yamora, that you have a clip of his speech on the last day of the Reparations Task Force, which was June 29th, 2023. And if he's going to show it, but if you guys want to go back and watch it, definitely for reparations.
Absolutely. So I know usually we have a summary board or overlay or slide that we usually have. Unfortunately, been a little busy, didn't get that together. So might have it next week, or we might have it at the very end of when we do the assembly. What do we call it? Recap slide. So
Okay. All
do the
right. I mean,
recap slide.
it seems like most of the people, representatives highlighted today, were not
in office. Yes. And it's interesting that on her breakdown, we have Black at 21.3%, 106,000. Well, you have Alameda, you have Oakland, but there's still a shift from what it was when I was growing up during that time. Because you can definitely go to Oakland and see gentrification at its best. But you still have a sizable Black population over there, but it's still the lowest out of this group.
Right.
Yeah.
Really, out of all the groups that we've seen today.
Yeah.
The lowest numbers. So are we going to go out with the Rob Bonta clip?
Yeah, let's
all
go
right.
up with the
So
Rob
before
Bonta.
before we do that, we have to run down our list of those to watch that voted no on AB 3121 in the Assembly. The Senate, those people we don't have to worry about. They're no longer, the no votes, which were all Republican, are no longer in office. But on the Assembly side, we do have a few that are still in office, and we'll need to keep a close eye on them. And that's Megan Dale, District 1, Vince Fong, District 32, James Gallagher, District 3, Devin Matthews, District 33, Jim Patterson, District 8, and Mary Waldron, District 75. Also in the U.S. House of Representatives, we have Kevin Kiley, District 3, and Jay Obernerty, District 23. So those were the no votes. And if you want to take us out with Bonta.
All right, family. Everybody have a wonderful day. Thanks for tuning in. And as usual, as we go out with it, peace and reparations.
That we have needed. And at its core, the task force's finding is clear. Reparations. Reparations for African Americans are appropriate. They are warranted. They are necessary. They are needed. And so it's my hope that the legislature, as I know it will, takes these determinations seriously and carefully, considers how to lift the proposals before them from the page into reality, into action.